All of it is pretty much wrong. We know some are worse than others to a certain degree, but I don't believe that you should be going around speaking school and saying, oh, the Arab slave trade was treating black people or slaves better than...
The bottom line is no one here wants their freedom taken away.
Yeah.
So you can't say, oh, one's better than the other, because the bottom line is, if I take your freedom away, no matter how I do it, you don't want that taken away from you. So you can't say, oh, I treated you better than he did. The bottom line is you never had your freedom.
But do you think that's because of in Islam, obviously I'm going to bash Islam a bit, I'm Islamophobe obviously, in Islam you have the concept of slavery still within the faith. And so they have to justify the unjustifiable.
I would say so. I would say so. I don't think it's. I don't think it's.
See, this is a good example. It's a good example. You can say very offensive things in front of him, and he still smiles, and I love that about certain people.
Why you say that? But do you remember a YouTuber called Gamer Man? Huh? Do you remember a YouTuber called Gamer Man? You called me a pussycat because I called you a black supremacist.
Oh, you said
is that you?
Yeah.
Is that you?
I think he's called a lot of people that.
But is that what you think? You think I'm a black supremacist?
Well, I did see a video where you said that because you were the first ones here, you're our dad. You're our father.
That's genetically.
But who came
But
before?
that's not superiority.
Well, who came before you? The apes. So are the apes your fathers?
No, but this is what the argument. You're saying I'm a supremacist. I never said apes are supreme. I never said any human being supreme. Do you get what I'm saying? But you're saying that I'm saying I'm a supremacist. I've never claimed superiority over anybody.
He didn't say your daddy's better.
Yeah, exactly. I've never claimed superiority. If I say that the first human being is the first human being, would be your father and would be your mother.
Remember,
That's what I'm
they
saying.
believe in Adam and Eve, so they don't believe in that.
Didn't you, Gary, said that because you have more melanin in your skin?
Am I Gary?
Hold on.
Yeah, but I'm just asking you, am I Gary?
But you do.
No, but one of you said it. I'm not sure which one.
Right. So who said it?
Not all black people are the same.
Yeah, who said it?
You're racist.
I think it might have been you actually.
You think it might be me? Well, what I ask you to do is find that video, and then you let me know when I said it. Because I will tell you I never said it. So you let me know when I said it.
On Twitter, you did post a link to a Wikipedia page where it talks about more melanin in the skin means you're healthier. And you're less.
I did that.
Yeah.
And I say to you again, you find that thing that I posted on Twitter. Yeah, you find it.
Can I interject here? Do you know that there are benefits
do you know how much? Do you know how much propaganda and lies surround me?
Yeah.
The stuff that I say, the stuff that I supposedly never said, and all that kind of stuff. Most of the stuff that people are saying I said, I ain't even said it. You can't even find me saying it. But because of what happens, people say something. Sarah said this, and everyone believes it, and everyone just starts saying the same thing, and everyone's like, yeah, Sarah's this, and I'm like, just show me where I said it.
You did say some stuff though.
What stuff? I would like to know.
It was to do with melanin. I know it's to do with melanin.
But you do know that if you look at...
Bro, I've never said anything about melanin. You're talking about someone else. Let me say to you.
But let me give.
You did post the link. I remember.
Hold on, dude. Hold on. Let me give you a positive about melanin. Let me say that I'm a portrait artist. Hold on.
No, I'm not mad.
Hold on, bro.
It's funny that people would claim all this propaganda.
So I'm a portrait artist. Black people's skin does not age the same as other races' skin. Is that?
Don't crack.
It doesn't. I've seen people that are 70-year-olds whose skin are just as good as that. So is that a benefit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have less cancer rates. So is that a benefit?
Yeah.
So he's not.
But I've never said.
But I'm saying,
I've never even said it.
Even if Gary said that melanin is a benefit.
Right. So me and Gary,
let's separate it. But
myself and Gary are two different people.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
You always come out.
You know what I'm saying?
Like me twins though. And you always together.
Listen, Gary's my brother. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you that everything that Gary says I agree with.
Yeah.
And likewise. But I still my brother though.
Yeah.
But don't say because Gary said something I said it, because I never said it.
Right.
I don't know who your best friend is. But if your best friend says, oh, fuck that bitch, whoever she is, and I'll be like, oh, he said fuck that bitch. You're going to be like, I never said that, my friend said it.
Yeah. Can you understand why saying you're the daddy can be seen as antagonistic?
No, only to people who don't understand science.
Like if you're having a debate with like a Muslim, and then you say...
Why does it have to be a Muslim?
No, because
why does it have to be a Muslim?
Because I always see...
Because I've said it to white people, I've said it to Asian people, they don't got as...
He didn't say Muslims, I'm your daddy.
Yeah.
You just said I'm your daddy.
Exactly.
Now the reason you have a problem is because he believes in Adam and Eve.
Now scientifically, is that correct? Is the African the first human being on the planet? Scientifically.
Hold on.
Scientifically, it hasn't been proven actually.
But can I say something? Hold on.
Black people are the first.
The reason you're offended...
Just go and look at the Human Genome Project. Don't be silly.
Hold on.
Just go and look at the Human Genome Project.
Let me break down why you're offended.
Spencer Wells, Human Genome Project, you'll find it.
And
you'll find it.
And because you say Adam isn't an African name, so the first human couldn't have had Adam as their...
Correct.
But you don't know that for a fact?
No, I do know that for a fact. Because the name Adam is from the Euro-Semitic language base. And the Euro-Semitic language base is not as old as the oldest people. So how can the oldest people have a name from a language base that is what, 100,000 years later? That doesn't make sense. You might just call him Dave. The first man was called Dave. How can the first man be called Dave?
Sure what's that guy's name, Basha or something, that you have debates on TV? I'm pretty sure he's already answered this question.
It doesn't make sense. You can answer something, but it can still not make sense though.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can answer something, but it doesn't mean it makes sense.
You're more upset, not because of what he said was offensive, but because you believe in a theology or an ideology that believes in Adam and Eve. Now, so for me, when I heard it and he said, I'm your daddy, I was like, all right, I believe in evolution.
That's my sense of humour is like that. And I will antagonize you because I've got that kind of sense of humour.
My ideology, I believe that humans did come from Africa. So for me, he's saying, I'm your daddy.
So you believe we evolved from apes?
What about India?
No, but humans, the first oldest humans remains are from Africa.
I'm just saying, when you say...
So they're the fathers and mothers of humanity, right?
I'm just saying, when you're having a heated debate with a Muslim and then you're like, I'm your father.
No, I tell you what the problem is. Muslims don't know how, a lot of them don't know how to curb their own emotions. I'm not in charge of your emotions.
I'm having the chance.
No, but I'm just not in charge of your emotions.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of mine. So if I speak to you and you take something to offence, that's not my... That's down to your...
You're subjective.
Don't you intend it to be a malicious insult at times?
Malicious insult?
Yeah,
No.
at times.
So everybody's using the
Why would
video.
that be an insult? I don't understand.
Because you know Muslims don't believe that we evolved from apes.
I'm not talking about beliefs.
Can I say something
Sorry,
quite rude?
I'm not talking about beliefs. I'm talking about facts and things that can be proven.
Yeah.
I don't care about beliefs. It's either you can prove something or you can't, and I can prove that, and the whole world can prove that Africans were the first human beings. So I don't care about Adam or Eve or your beliefs. The Human Genome Project, we can do it. We can do a DNA test with you right now and find African in your genetics.
And they found skeletons.
We can find Africa in your genetic DNA.
Could that just be the Adam and Eve first landed in Africa?
The Adam and Eve, like I just said. If you want to call them Adam and Eve, you have to. What you're trying to do here is that you're trying to give your story validity. Your story doesn't have validity outside of your story. In science, they don't go by no Adam, no Eve, and all of that. That's just a story that comes from.
I don't want to be insulting, but you know that Adam and Eve story is more ludicrous than any other story that you can talk about human existence.
I actually believe,
Can you not believe? How can you have two individuals that suddenly pop up and then they start mating, and then the whole human race comes from these two individuals?
But you believe
Is that possible in terms of genetics?
But you believe it's logical that every single living creature
It's more logical.
came from one thing.
It's more logical.
So me and you and rats
I'm saying
have the same.
I'm saying it's
have
more
the same
logical
ancestry.
than you saying a man and woman just suddenly pop down and everybody comes from that particular individuals from thousands of years or billions of years ago. For me, it's less of. It's a,
Now we're gonna go live.
It's a less of the two evils. Yeah, your one is completely ludicrous, and evolution has its flaws as well, but nowhere as much as the Adam and Eve story.
But Chinese have it as well.
It doesn't mean it's right because people have it.
But if it's common,
1.5 billion people used to follow communism at one point, and it's collapsing. So what do you want? It doesn't just because you've got numbers and you've got longevity, it doesn't mean that you're right. I could be right and was it as one individual, and all of you lot are wrong. You definitely are wrong. I'm an Indian.
So what's your belief about the first human beings?
I believe in evolution.
Because Darwin says it,
so-
which is
Because
a theory.
it's
Do you
and I
believe
believe that
evolution
humans
because
come from
Darwin says it?
Africa. I think that's the most common sense kind of theory at the moment.
Right,
It
so
may-
where do you think human beings come from then?
God created us. One thing. And we don't believe in God. We know God. And we don't believe God exists. We know God exists.
How do you know God did it?
How do we know God did it?
Yeah, how do you know God did it?
Because messengers came down and told us
Everything's
about
about
him.
India.
And they
We
proved
can
that they
talk
were
about
messengers from God
we can
because
talk
the
about
miracles
NASA and
they
space
did.
India.
All right, how do you know that is what I'm saying?
We're talking about evolution.
Well, from history.
From history.
From
So
the-
so the information that God is from God, where did you get that information from?
Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, so Prophet Muhammad told you this. Where did Prophet Muhammad tell you this?
He didn't tell us. He told the people of his time 1400 years ago, and the information was recorded in like books and the Quran and Hadith.
Okay.
And that information was passed down through generations.
So how do you in 2018 know that that is correct information? How do you know that?
Because he performed miracles that no one but a messenger of God could perform.
And no, I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying, how do you know that? You're telling me your stuff that
The Quran couldn't be from anyone but God.
The Quran, why?
Because it just doesn't seem like it was written by anyone but God. The things
That's
that,
your subjective
It
opinion.
doesn't seem, remember you said it doesn't seem like that.
the things that are in the Quran, no man could have known those.
Like what?
Embryology.
Embryology.
The seawater and salt water not mixing, there's a barrier between them.
That's basic information that people knew for
But
thousands.
how would the Prophet know that?
Okay, so that's a good question. How would the Prophet know that? Is it more likely that your Prophet was taught that, or are you telling me it's from God?
He couldn't have me taught that because at that time, the mainstream thesis was that, like, basically, like embryology at that time, they made a lot of mistakes. And the books 400 years ago, what they discussed about embryology was incorrect. So how could the Prophet, from all the books that he stole the information of embryology from, how could he have corrected the mistakes of that time?
Something like you would
Do you know that there are very there are discrepancies in what your Prophet said about embryology?
Such as?
Do you know that?
No.
Have you not researched the scientific manuscripts or the scientific papers on how babies are formed, juxtaposed and how your Prophet said it was?
I mean, there was a scientist who was an expert on embryology. He actually converted to Islam because of what the Quran said about embryology, and he's a scientist. And he's a scientist and he's an expert on embryology. And he said in the Quran, he said there's no way a man could have known this 40 years ago. You know what his name was? Scientist. And he got.
So are you telling me now that
you said the discrepancies such as?
Yeah. I could have told you. I'm not gonna lie, I can't tell you them off the top of my head. I was reading it. But what I'm trying to say to you is that for you to claim God, though, for you to claim God, you would have to prove God, though.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
But like, if we believe God is outside the universe, how can we prove someone that's outside the universe?
Exactly. So what is that then? So if you can't prove something, what is it called? No, you can't prove it. What's it called?
No.
It's called a what? Belief. Thank you very much.
But as much as I try to prove my belief, you're never going to accept it.
Because you can't prove it. I'll accept something that you can prove.
And if I have,
No, it'd be fair to say, based on whatever's in the Quran,
what's the big deal?
for
You know
me,
if you go home, if you go home right now and you see your doors broken, your windows have been smashed, your belongings have been stolen, are you going to be like, until I see a thief, I'm not going to believe there's a thief?
No.
Or you can see the evidence around and you couldn't prove the claim that there was a thief in
Yes.
the house. Are you do the same with God?
No.
Because the universe, planets, orbiting each other, gravity, rain coming down, fruit bearing from the trees. How can that be for anyone but a designer?
Thieves are not extraordinary.
So that was my ancestral.
Thieves are actually ordinary.
Why are they ordinary?
Because we know of thieves, don't we?
Yeah.
We know of them.
Yeah.
But we don't know of a God, do we?
But that's because there's only one God. I believe there's
Okay, but we don't know of any God. Whether it be the one, the sixth one, the eighth one, we don't know of one, do we?
I will agree with you actually. It is a belief. I agree
Right,
with
because
you.
we don't know of one.
Yeah, I
But we know of thieves, don't we? So we can claim a thief. If I said my windows are broken and my stuff's gone and a unicorn did it, then you were like, hang on a minute, what are you talking about? But we know a thief, we don't know a unicorn. But you're claiming something like a God that nobody knows of.
But even by the definition of the word knowing, you still couldn't disprove that it wasn't a unicorn.
But it's not. Now listen to that. I couldn't disprove it was a unicorn, right? Okay. So how can I disprove something that hasn't already been proven?
How can you disprove something that hasn't already been proven?
Yeah, because if you say, if you say Sarah, it was a
So
unicorn.
you're saying the burden of proof is on the one making the claim.
Correct.
I suppose that's a fair.
Because if I say I rode on a unicorn yesterday, that's my claim. You're going to say to me, hang on, Sarah, prove to me that you rode on a unicorn yesterday. And I say, hang on, you can't disprove that I rode on a unicorn yesterday, can you?
Yeah.
But can you? Can you disprove it?
By the laws of physics, we could.
Oh. No, can you disprove it?
Yes, but not by physical evidence, by logic.
Right, but I didn't even bring evidence to you. I just made a claim.
Right.
So that if you make a claim, it's silly to ask somebody to disprove a claim. It's very silly.
Yeah.
Because you need to prove the claim before you ask somebody to disprove it.
Like I could say in my house I have $10 million.
Right.
Or $10 million.
Disprove it.
Yeah.
And I can say, hang on a minute, there's actually no way of me disproving that, is there?
What if I said that the Quran is the proof? The book.
No, the Quran is a claim.
how do you explain some of the scientific, I'll say miracles, but scientific knowledge that's in the Quran that wasn't known 1400 years ago?
Like, no, hang on. You see, we say it wasn't known 1400 years ago.
Yeah, by man.
No, what you're doing is that you are superimposing the logic of the people that you know of on the whole globe. You don't know what people knew 1400 years ago. I will tell you this: you can go to the Nile Valley Africans, and they were already doing autopsies. They were drilling inside the brain, doing all kinds of stuff. They had already mapped out the star systems. So we don't actually know what people were doing 1400 years ago. We don't actually know, and what we do know is that the Library of Alexandria was burnt down with a wealth of knowledge in there. So we don't even know what was lost in the Library of Alexandria. We don't know.
Have you been watching ancient astronauts?
No. I'm just saying, to claim that you know something without having all the evidence and to ask someone to disprove something, it's a bit silly.
Well, in the 21st century, for us, it's the Quran. But at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, it wasn't just the Quran, it was the other miracles he performed that people witnessed.
Do you really believe that he split the moon in half?
And no one saw it.
You know, this is going to sound crazy, but there's a video by NASA that said there's a large tear in the moon that occurred roughly 500 to 1300 years ago.
I'm asking you as a human being, do you think he split the moon in half?
Yeah.
Do you think he flew off into heaven on a white horse?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, bro.
But can I say something? Do you understand?
Fucking hell, brother.
Hold on. Do you understand? Out of recorded history, there's been no account of the moon splitting. Second, if the moon did split, the Earth would have catastrophic tidal waves and it all just got absolutely apeshit because of the gravity.
But we believe.
Why was there no effect on the Earth when you cracked the moon in half?
No, but if I'm making the claim that it's all-powerful God, can I make the claim that a prophet...
But no one saw it.
No, but can I make the claim that the prophet could have split the moon and none of that would have happened because God wouldn't allow it to happen? I am making the claim.
But no one saw it.
Yeah, but your claims don't mean anything, though.
It's been recorded.
Your claims don't mean anything.
That's why it's a belief.
Exactly. So, okay. So if you know it's a belief,
You gotta
go.
We made a breakthrough. He's a
belief. It's a belief. It's fine. It's a belief.
Well done.
But
you're a rational guy.
You do understand that you can't claim beliefs as facts, though, right?
Yeah, but I still believe God exists.
I know that's good though. You said
We're
believe.
gonna call you unicorn, man.
He's a nice guy. Well done. You see that? You see the difference? No, he said something very important. He said belief. A lot of Muslims say it's fact, and then you cannot argue with these people because they believe what they're saying is completely objective. So I do like that guy. I gave him a lot of stick earlier as well. Yeah, I gave him a lot of stick.
At least he knows the belief.
You can't argue with him, man. I was my religion of belief as well. What about you, Christian? Do you believe in that?
Big up,
Right, let me go and see what's going on around here.
Take some food.